Welcome back to a Victory Monday episode, of the Purple Rain podcast. Welcome back to the episode 210 of the Purple Rain podcast. The Arthur Millette episode, I'd say, of the Purple Rain podcast. It was the James Prochet. Yeah, I think he did change his number before he got cut, unfortunately. Of the Purple Rain podcast, DeMarcus Robinson was number 10 as well. Receivers and slot corners. Yeah, it's a weird combination. But thank you all for coming through. Episode 210 of the Purple Rain podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast. Follow this guy on Instagram, on Twitter at Sutton Def. You can follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. Most importantly, our sponsor, Manscaped. Try to tell you, it is Thursday. Oh, Thursday is Thanksgiving. It is coming up. All right. If you want to go and get early Christmas gifts, go in there, get something nice, and use code PRP for 20% off your whole order and free international shipping. It's a kicker. It's really the kicker.
Always the kicker. Always the kicker. Like my guy Alex said, thank you all for showing up, coming out to this episode 210 of the Purple Rain podcast. Another Victory Monday episode, kind of de facto. I mean, I know we played on Thursday, but Victory Monday nonetheless, right? We're going to celebrate it all the same. We got a lot to talk about in this one. Obviously a good win on Thursday. Did hit a little, well, I'd say a couple of bumps in the road, so to say, when it comes to the I words. So we'll bring that up. You guys can see the title of the video. You guys already know we're going to get into the whole Mark Andrews talk, from what happened on Thursday to what was said today from John Harbaugh. But of course, before we do that, we would be remiss if we did not bring up those who are in the live chat, the live Rain Gang. We always appreciate you guys. We got Quoney in the house. Says, what's up, Purple Rain Gang? What's going on, Quoney? Let's see. Lisa says, is everyone with me on getting rid of the hip drop tackle besides me? That's from Lisa. Touch on that real quick. I mean, I'm honestly not a fan of the whole, let's ban the hip drop tackle. I mean, it's football. I mean, it's a dangerous sport naturally. So, I mean, there's only but so much we can get rid of before it's literally not football anymore. So, yeah, exactly. I agree with, disagreeing with that take. Okay. Let me see. We got Mod Boz in the house. Says, yo, Rain Gang, Purple Pain Monday. Yeah, you guys know Boz, the Steelers fan. Real rough one for them yesterday, losing to DTR and company. And then a lot of them are kind of crucifying Kenny Pickett. So I guess we'll get into that when we go around the league a little bit later in the episode. Make sure you stick around for that. But thank you, Boz, for coming out as usual. We appreciate you. We got Mod K-Dog in the house. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you for coming through. As always supporting, always showing up. Cam the Baptist in the house as well, says PRP with the emojis behind it. What's going on? Another Purple Rain pioneer right there himself. Kareem in the house. What's going on, Kareem? Rain Gang. Buddha Christ says, look at Sutton showing off the pump. Yeah, a little something today. Show you all the arms or whatever. I've been in the gym with it or whatever. All right. Let's see. Oh, my guy Max is in the house as well. Says, what's good, PRP? Let's go. Sooo to clog. Let's get Sooo to clog the middle of the defense. So in Ndamukong Suh, he's championing for right there. Okay, I mean, I don't mind that. King 95 says, whoa, what's going on, King? Appreciate you for pulling up, coming through per usual. Cam, hitting all bases here, says hit the like. We're gonna go ahead and take 5 seconds of silence for you guys to do that. So starting right now, hit the like. So thank you if you have already hit the like button. If you have not, maybe consider it. If you don't want to give away your hard-earned likes so fast, so quick, trust me, I get that too. Just stick around, give us a chance. Maybe you'll leave your like later. We appreciate it. We got Yolanda in the house. Says, good evening, Rain Gang. Good evening, Yolanda. Thank you for coming through to this episode 210 of the Purple Rain podcast. Okay, so Alex, let's not mince any more words, right? Let's go ahead and get into what we came here to talk about. Our Ravens. We played on Thursday. Of course, we didn't play on Sunday, so it was a stress-free Sunday yesterday. for a lot
It
of us. And,
was.
some of us were rooting for certain teams to win, certain teams to lose. I know the Browns beating the Steelers was a good thing for us. And then, there was a couple of other games that could have went our way, didn't necessarily happen. Like the Dolphins, I think, won, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But going back to Thursday night, because that's where we played our football, what were your biggest takeaways from that game? Just from, kind of what transpired in the game on the field itself. And then we know that you were actually at the game. So what was the
Yes.
atmosphere like? Just give us the whole 360 experience of what you experienced on Thursday night.
I'll be honest, like, I know we're happy about winning. Put up 37 points. I'm gonna be that guy. Our offense started off too slow once again, but we had a good starting first drive, and then second, third, and fourth they were pretty dog shit. I'm not gonna mince words. If Burrow plays, I still think we win. I think it's a lot closer though, but offense has got to start off stronger. Look at you, Todd Monken. Look at the whole offense. Look at that line as well. That line, Macari was getting cooked. Real sus. But as for the atmosphere there, I mean, we were loud every single play. You can probably hear my voice, and didn't help that I went to the Maryland Michigan game on Saturday too. But yeah, I mean, it was crazy. The whole light show, introductions, the blackout, the lights, going on and off. If they lost that game, there would have to be some real questions asked, because this team is too good and the fans are just too amazing to lose that game. But I was down there like 3 hours before the game and it was packed. It was jumping. Tailgates were going crazy. Good amount of Bengals fans. And tell you what, Bengals fans do talk a lot of trash. At the end of the game, I actually got into a nice little verbal argument with the Bengals fan talking about the Ravens. It was
Really?
crazy. Yeah, wearing Evan McPherson's Super Bowl jersey. Yeah, flaunting that second place off. That was one of my main talking points. And apparently, we've been irrelevant for 10 years now, guys. Didn't know
Evan
that.
McPherson,
Yeah, the Super Bowl jersey too. The
of
one
all
where he
people.
missed it because he was sitting there watching the halftime show. Unlike Tucker, our goat.
Yikes.
But yeah, the atmosphere was crazy, and hopefully it's kind of a statement win. Losing Mark Andrews absolutely sucks. And even when Lamar went down, I was worried about him. But I mean, Odell's heating up. That's a good thing. Zay, we saw
Yes.
how fast he is. We saw how fast Keaton Mitchell is. Just him blocking. And just Gus is a touchdown magnet this year. He's punching it in. Yeah, just offense clicked and turned it on in the second quarter, second half. So the defense, though, Rock Ya-Sin. I do want to talk about him. Talk about a liability. Talk about it. Like, he had a good plan, Jamar Chase, and then got cooked. We even saw Jalen Armour Davis in that defensive back. Marlon Humphrey, please come back. We miss you. But we did shut down Jamar Chase, Brandon Stevens. I'm going to give him his flowers. Absolutely amazing again. Yeah, and yeah, that's really all I got, man. It's still kind of a blur. It was a crazy night. I'm just happy we got out there and won. Got home at like 1:30. So, real fun night.
Yeah. Definitely felt like a little bit of a blur. Just that whole game. I mean, it was just so weird, that the whole first half, with Burrow going down, Andrews going down, Lamar temporarily going down. There was
Yeah.
just a whole lot going on in that game, and I can only imagine the emotions that were just like flowing through that stadium as all that was transpiring. Mark Andrews goes down on the first drive. On the first
Yep.
drive. I have to assume, no, I think I was watching the broadcast. Of course, I was watching the broadcast. I was watching the game. The whole stadium fell silent, it seemed like. Is that true?
Oh, it's 100% true. It was true.
Mhm.
We were driving down on them. They had nothing to stop us. The first play, Lamar hits Andrews outside the numbers. Then saw a toe drag, 12, 13 yards. We run it, and Zay goes upfield for like 30, 40 yards. We're driving on him first at drive, and then, Andrews gets the first down, and then he goes down. We're like, no way. But like, we all like cheered because he walked on his own power just with a limp. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's not serious. And then we see him with locker room, and we're like, yep, serious. And then I'm seeing like the Twitter updates, like, yeah, he's on crutches right now. And even with the whole Burrow stuff, like, I didn't know anything was wrong with Burrow at all until I see a Twitter thing. It's like, I saw the video of him trying to throw it, and the ball falls out of his hand. He's like, I can't do it. And I showed like people in our section, I'm like, bro, Burrow's not coming back in. Nobody believed me. Like, we saw Jake Browning come in the game. It was a crazy game.
Yeah.
Like, Thursday night, that was it was a weird night in Baltimore.
And it's wild because like from the broadcast view on TV, that was the first thing that they showed us. You know, not Lamar, but Joe Burrow gripping that football and trying to throw it on the sidelines and just couldn't do it. Like the ball literally just falls out of his hand. That was one of the first thing that they showed us, and that was just like, to me, it was kind of surreal, just in the moment. Like, wow, like he cannot grip the football right now. Like he will not come back in this game. You know, and then there were also talks, you know, leading up to the game. You know, there was paparazzi who took shots at him with something on his hand, you know, when he was kind of arriving at M&T Bank Stadium. And it was never reported by the Cincinnati Bengals what was going on with that hand. And I know that the NFL is investigating that in itself. But yeah, it kind of felt surreal. And then just to kind of hear the news that Joe Burrow was going to be done for the season after that, it kind of hurt me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Even as a Ravens fan, like, you want to see this Ravens team beat the best, or at least I do as a fan. Like, I've been a Ravens fan long enough to want to see them not necessarily have the easiest path to victory, which is why I don't care that the Ravens have the hardest schedule remaining for the rest of the season. Like, I welcome that. I welcome that challenge. I really do, because I want this team to be tested. I think that they need that. You know what I mean? So it was really disheartening to see Joe Burrow go down like that. Don't really feel the same way about Deshaun Watson for obvious reasons, but it's just, yeah, it's unfortunate the way that. Sure. And then, like, it's just unfortunate the way that the I wars are piling up, especially this late in the season. Now, I wanted to talk about Mark Andrews, right? And that's kind of like on the title of the video here. There's a chance that Mark Andrews returns. So today we found out, just 72 hours after Mark Andrews goes down with that I word. Harbaugh says that, you know, it wasn't as bad as they initially thought it was. It was more of a clean break. Where I think it was his fibula that got cracked or something like that. Yeah. They said it was more of a clean break. So there's an outside chance, quote unquote, outside chance, according to John Harbaugh, that Mark Andrews might be able to make it back onto the field at some point in time. Now, with that being said, it is kind of, you have to assume the only way that he would come back is if we make a deep playoff run. And I'm talking like AFC Championship game to Super Bowl type of playoff run, you know what I mean, is when he'd probably be eligible to come back. But at the same time, this sounds like a very, very serious thing. I wouldn't want to rush him back. And what I would rather talk about, and where I want to come to you on this, Alex, like, Mark Andrews in the last 10 games, he had, I think, 61 catches. No, not 61 catches, 61 targets. I'm sorry. 61 targets in the last 10 games. You divide the 61 by the 10, that's about 6 targets a game. How are those targets going to get divvied up now that Mark Andrews is not out there? Do we see more of an Odell Beckham Jr. who's getting more and more targets as the weeks go on, who actually just had his first 100-yard game? Do we see more targets going to Zay Flowers, who, you just like you said, we saw his speed. You got to see it in real time twice in the last month, right? Do we give more chances to Rashad Bateman, who's kind of been stepping up in different ways and doing certain things like that? Isaiah Likely's the backup tight end. We know what he can do. Alex, I want to know from you and from the rest of the Rain gang as well, where do those 6 targets go? Where should they go?
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't hate one of them, Keaton Mitchell, out the backfield at all. He had one catch. He caught at the line of scrimmage and ran 9 yards for it, and he had no blockers. I mean, it was just him and one other guy. He outran him and got pushed out of bounds. I like that. That's one of them. I mean, I like maybe one of them with Rashad Bateman. I think on Thursday was the first time that all 4 of our wide receivers, Zay, Odell, Bateman, Aguilar, had themselves a game. Aguilar had the touchdown catch. Bateman had the touchdown catch. Zay and OBJ, they drove it down the field. That's what a receiving core does. And it felt nice. And I don't want to sit here and act like I'm celebrating this injury, because I'm not. But like, if there's any time for Mark Andrews, unfortunately, for this to happen, it's now, because we do have the other weapons to continue without him. Last year he went down. It's like, oh, well, we're signing Deshaun Jackson. Like that was our answer, was Deshaun Jackson. And people thought that was a good idea. I mean, I don't know what you think. I think Likely, obviously, in Kolar, I was happy with Kolar, had that one catch. Just got lost, took it for about 12, 13 yards with that ugly helmet. Saw it in person. Very ugly. Even uglier in person. I'll sit here and tell you that. But But this is the
Yeah.
time for these guys to show why they were picked in the 4th round last year and not reproduce what managers did, but at least move the chains and be football players.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with what you're saying there. And like I said, man, 6 targets to go around. That's actually a pretty good amount, per football game. Extra, that is. Now, my take on it is that I think that Zay Flowers is going to be the one who gets the surplus of targets in Mark Andrews' absence. And I think the proof is in the pudding. If you look back to early in the season when we didn't have Mark Andrews for the first 2 games? I think it was 2 games, maybe 3.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We were force
Yeah.
feeding Zay Flowers a lot during that time. And I expect Todd Monken to kind of go back to that well. And, I don't blame him for it because we need to see Zay Flowers have that breakout game. He damn near had it on Thursday night, but they called back the touchdown because of an Odell hold, which, I mean, you were in the stadium, so I know there was the manure chance going really crazy. But I mean, it was one of those things. I can't even be mad at the ref for throwing it because I see why. I saw the little tug, it was there, but it just wasn't enough to necessarily warrant. Sometimes he could have swallowed the whistle, basically, is what I'm saying. He could have swallowed the whistle. He didn't. It is what it is, right? But Zay Flowers, he needs to have that breakout game. He needs to have that big touchdown run like he almost had. He needs to have that, I don't know, 8 catches for 100 something yards. He hasn't gotten over 70, or I think it's 80 since he's been in the league. So we need to get that guy going. I think Todd Monken realizes that. Also, I think you're going to see a lot more Rashad Bateman as well. And a lot of people are thinking like, oh, Odell Beckham Jr., he just had a 100-yard game. His target shares has been going up week to week to week to week. Yeah, but when you watch Odell Beckham Jr. play, and you were at the game, so maybe you didn't get to see it as well as us did who watched at home a little bit more up close. Odell, he's how do I put this? He's really good for what he's doing for us right now, but you can tell that he's still not 100%. Hell, not even 80%. You know what I mean? And I don't know,
Yeah.
nobody's really
Yeah.
100% going
Yeah.
into Thanksgiving week 12 of the NFL season, but even after his big plays, where I think the one where he had the spin on the sideline and gets an extra
Mm-hmm.
10 yards or something like that, he comes up kind of hobbling after that play just a little bit,
Yeah.
right? Kind of tries to play it off, walk it off a little bit, but it's there. So I don't really expect
Mm-hmm.
for us to be, targeting him in a huge way going forward. I do think he'll still get his maybe 3,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 4 targets a game, something like that, right? But I think that a majority of the work is going to go to Zay Flowers on short passes. You're going to see Zay Flowers more, I think, in the middle of the field as well, working in the middle of the field on posts, things like that, trying to get him into where Mark Andrews was fitting in and see what he does with that opportunity. But I think Zay Flowers is going to take it. Let me see what some of you guys are saying down here in the chat. I definitely want to bring that up too. Let me see. Kareem says, give some of those to Nelson Aguilar. Now, Alex, I know you were saying how Nelson Aguilar, he needs more targets. That's an underrated signing. Had himself a touchdown on Thursday. What are your thoughts?
That concentration, though. I mean, I think one thing I'm not really too impressed over the Odell PI or holding, whatever they called it, because then we get stripped of a Nelson Aguilar tip touchdown and the flip into the end zone. That was the icing on the cake. So we still scored on that drive. It's not like we didn't score on it. But yeah, I think he's earned another extra target or two. And speaking about Bateman, if it wasn't for an amazing play by Cam Taylor-Britt, that's a Bateman deep ball touchdown. Bateman has been creating separation. If him and Lamar are on the
Yep.
same page, that's the only thing
Yep.
is they're on the same page. Bateman is sitting here. It's not like he's getting locked up. He is creating separation. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. It is a good thing to see. And even just with that touchdown, I think that could really be the key to him and Lamar getting on the same page. He broke inside, to help Lamar out, went to the ball and catches the touchdown. That's on purpose.
That's
He
a
did
chemistry
that for a
building play
reason.
right there.
Exactly. And if Lamar can trust him there and we can get Bateman heat up, scary sight for the offense. Scary sight. And one thing I did like is when Keaton Mitchell was on the field, we weren't just running it to him sometimes. I think the Bengals were expecting to go just to him, and then they did kind of, figure him out a little bit some plays, but he did break his one off and he did have that good catch and run.
Yeah.
There's so much potential. That's just
And you know what about Keaton Mitchell, just really quick. I thought that he was kind of in well, right now he's kind of in a bad spot in terms of usage, because whenever he is on the field, like you said, like teams know that he's getting the ball, and teams know that he's the one who's been electric for us over the past 14 days at running back, been breaking off huge runs, touchdown after touchdown, that sort of thing. Um, so yeah, I think it is going to take a little bit of time for Keaton Mitchell to kind of go just a little bit back under the radar, just a little
Mhm.
bit, right? Just to kind of blend in more with the offense. Because right now he doesn't really blend in with the offense. It's like when he's on the field, he's getting the
Yep.
football, and defenses know
Yep.
that, you know. So as he blends in a little bit more, I think his production will go up. He'll probably, you know, maybe average maybe 10 carries a game. They gave him 8 on Thursday, to Gus's 12. I think maybe that starts to even out just a little bit more if we see more home run plays from Keaton Mitchell, because those home run plays at running back are so valuable, and I don't think a lot of people realize what those really do for us. You know what I mean? Because there's so many opportunities with an offense like ours that has so many, it's just so much sleight of hand and so many moving parts and things like that. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, you know, especially in our passing game when it comes to the run pass option and the QB fakes, things like that. You guys have seen the fumbles, the miscues, right? When you have a home run hitter like a Keaton Mitchell who can take, you know, a ball on 2nd and 4 to the house, that changes things. That changes things, you know. So hopefully he will begin to blend in with this offense a little bit more, and he will be even more effective. Our guy Big Dog K says Bateman 8 against the Chargers. He's going to do it again. Yeah, we beat
Yeah.
up on the Chargers last time.
34-6, man. He was just first down
Yeah,
after first down after first down. And so you know, like Keaton Mitchell, he sticks out like a sore thumb on the field. Like, you know, he's there. You cannot hide
yeah,
him at all. You know 34 is there, and you know just how fast and electric he is. But yeah, I
yeah.
mean, putting up 37 points, over 30 points again. Man, we were talking about we haven't hit 30 points, and now it's just becoming
It's
just
a normal thing now.
common.
Like it's
Yeah,
just,
it's normal.
I don't know. It's like 5 straight games now. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And I
Um,
expect it to go to
yeah.
6 after Sunday as well.
Yeah, because I mean, we'll get into the Chargers game on Thursday, of course, and more in depth that is. But I mean, their defense isn't all that good. It's not good at all, actually, especially their secondary.
Bosa's on the IR.
Bosa's on IR. They think he might have torn his Achilles. That's not good. Yeah. Let me see. King 95 says here, hot take. I don't think we miss a beat with Andrews out. Wide receivers numbers are about to go to another level. And I'll tell you, if they do, I think that kind of, it bodes well for Lamar Jackson's MVP candidacy. You know, as much
Oh, I
as
don't
I
care
hate
about
Mark
that.
Andrews going
Oh,
out, I don't care about it either. But I think that people will start to get, because I don't think that people are really giving Lamar Jackson his flowers right now, because we're getting more
mm-mm.
team victories, right? But I think that if these receivers start to step up a little bit more, and that passing game starts to become really what we intended for it to be. And when I say the passing game, I mean excluding Mark Andrews, because this whole entire offseason, we were talking about basically everybody who catches passes for the Ravens, not named Mark Andrews, right? Because we expected
Yeah.
Odell Beckham Jr., Rashad Bateman, and Zay Flowers as a trio to be able to become one of the best offenses, receiving cores in the league, rather, you know. So now we finally get an opportunity to see that with no distractions, right? No tight end 2, top 10 tight end, to, you know, kind of take away some of those targets. We'll see what these guys can deliver, especially after the catch. So it's going to be interesting to see going forward. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that you're talking about with the Ravens offense is like, look how many touchdowns Gus Edwards has.
Yeah.
I don't think Lamar Jackson cares. I mean, Gus has scored what, 6 touchdowns in his past 3 games, I think. Those very well could be passing touchdowns. We're scoring. We're winning. Nobody cares. This team is just locked in. They don't care about personal accolades. They care about the team goal. And that's what I love about this team. It feels just like they feel like a team. All 53 players are in on it. Not one person isn't in. They're doing whatever they can to win, which I love.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you can't really ask for much more from the Ravens right now. Only thing I can ask for is just a little bit more consistency stopping the run. That's my
Mm-hmm.
only thing, because like stopping the run has been a very low key blemish that nobody has really talked about too much this year.
Yeah.
But there's been multiple times this season where I can point back to games and say, like, damn, like we really can't, we cannot keep teams behind the sticks, right, consistently.
Colts,
And yeah, Colts, Cardinals, I can point to multiple games,
Titans,
you know.
second half.
Right. Exactly. So if they can clean that up, man, I mean, because the rest of the defense looks like they're balling right now. I know we're a little bit thin at DB. We normally are around this time of year, but man, as long as that pass rush holds up, what do you got?
One thing I want to say, Kyle fucking Hamilton. How
Mm,
did y'all let him fall to 14?
dog.
Making plays on wide receiver one, making plays on anybody. On tight ends, Kyle Hamilton is a dog. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
letting him be a Baltimore Raven. I cannot thank every team enough for that. Unreal. Unreal talent. Seeing him in flesh play, that pass breakup on Jamar Chase, the concentration, loved it. Absolutely
I mean,
loved it.
it's really because he can do anything. First of
Mm-hmm.
all, he has the size. You know what I mean? Like he can play anywhere on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Some people call him a glorified linebacker, and it's like, I mean, if my safety has some linebacking ability around the line of scrimmage, I like that. You know what I mean? If my
Mm-hmm.
safety can go out and get 3 sacks in one half, I like that. You know what I mean? If he can get a deflection at the line of scrimmage, catch his own deflection, and run it in for a touchdown, hey, you can
He
call him a
likes that.
glorified poor man's Ray Lewis if you want to. I don't give a shit. I don't. The dude's
Yep.
been balling. The dude's been balling. So, like you said, man, I mean, pick number 14, well spent. Very well spent.
Oh my god. Yeah. And Marcus Williams as well had a good pass breakup. I think he would have picked it if his other arm is fully healthy. But yeah, I'm right there with you.
Mhm.
Run defense has got to step up. No, Sue's out there. Akeem Hicks is out there. Definitely wouldn't be surprised if we would go out there and try to snag up one of those guys. But yeah, Mike McDonald, keep doing your thing. And
Yeah.
got to move on because we play some really good teams coming up here.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, we will be doing our preview episode on Thursday for the LA Chargers game. It's going to be an interesting one right before the bye week. And then after that, we take on the Rams and then a couple of other, I think it's the Dolphins or 49ers. I know we got
Jags,
49ers on Christmas.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jags, Niners, Dolphins, Steelers.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to around the league. So let's talk about some other games that we saw happen on Sunday. Alex, what were some of your biggest takeaways from Sunday's slate of NFL games?
Yesterday was the first time I got to just put on some pants, a sweatshirt, and my Lions jersey over my hoodie.
Yep.
And guess what? I got to watch the Lions come back and beat the Bears. That felt really good to watch. But one team I do want to talk about that you have a love for, and I always left hand up. Who are we? The Commanders. Ron Rivera should not have a job right now. I don't know how he is still their head coach. There was a point where the Giants had 0 rushing yards, and they were still beating the Commanders. I don't know what is going on in Washington at all.
Yeah, it's really hard to put a finger on just one specific thing because you can point to the fact that they were in that game late, yesterday, and throws the pick six late by Sam Howell that virtually ends the game, and you could point to that and be like, oh, Sam Howell, he's not it. He's not the one for Washington. But I don't even necessarily think that that's the issue. It's just when it's a multitude of things that you can, and when you really can't put your finger on one exact position group or this or that, I turn to the coach and say, if I can't put my finger on exactly what's going on as a fan, you know what I mean? Just by looking at the field, that means there has to be something going on behind the scenes that is just, is lacking in a sense. You know what I mean? Like there's a lack of something
Yep.
going on behind the scenes, or whether it be in practice or in film sessions, whatever it may be. There's something that's not going right behind the scenes, and Ron Rivera, he probably does need to go ahead and get moved out of Washington for that. But I want to ask you this: do you think that Ron Rivera deserves to get fired more than Brandon Staley?
You look at the Chargers and all the talent they've had over the past couple of years. I think he does. That team is a disappointment. Their scouting department, Quentin Johnston, I mean, the question marks were there. They passed on Zay Flowers. They
Brutal
passed on
drop.
Tank Dell. I mean, Tank Dell was a third. I get that. You could always, double dip. Um, but if you need a receiver, Quentin Johnston wasn't the type of receiver that they needed in that offense. They could have used a guy like Zay Flowers. They could have used a guy like Tank Dell, a small, speedy guy who let him get open and he'll just make the rest happen. Quinn Johnson didn't feel like they needed him, especially with having Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. It didn't feel like the right pick, and it's just the loss of the Titans week 1, and then the loss yesterday to the Packers, and just other losses as well. I mean, I think Staley definitely has to be like the seed has to be burning right now. It has to. They've had talent nonstop year after year, spending all this money trading for these players, and they just can't get it done.
Yeah, I mean, they've looked like literal Super Bowl champions on paper in some of these off seasons in the past few years. And one game that I wanted to touch on was the Steelers at Browns game, right? So AFC North matchup again, and the Browns coming away with this one in an ugly one as usual, right? By 3 points. DTR taking out Kenny Pickett and those boys. When I watch some of the playback, some of the film from that game, Kenny Pickett, of course, obviously you saw the play where he airmails the ball to absolutely nobody in the open field. That was pretty brutal. Miscommunication there. They're just saying he's not seeing the field all that well. You know what I mean? Bails on pockets a little bit too early, that sort of thing. He's just not really developing into the guy that they thought would be their franchise quarterback. So I want to know from you, like, what do you see when you watch Kenny Pickett? Like, do you think that we could realistically be, as Ravens fans, getting ready to go up against him twice a season long term?
Yeah. Well, he's beaten us the past 2 times we played him. Only time we beat them was when we knocked him out and Mitch Trubisky we beat him. I don't know how. It's like, as a Ravens fan, I don't want to talk trash because he owns us right now, speaking. But one thing I do want to say about the Steelers is the better running back isn't being played enough. That's Jaylen Warren. This is a Zeke, Tony Pollard situation all over again. I'll say it. Jaylen Warren was the only thing in the offense actually keeping them going. The touchdown, the stiff arm. Yeah, honestly, their first round pick. I mean, the Steelers' offense is a mess, and it starts up top with Canada.
You're right. And I've been thinking this for a while too. I mean, like, is Najee Harris really RB1 in Pittsburgh? I mean, because every time I see this kid, Jaylen Warren, just kind of like you said with Tony Pollard a couple of years ago with Zeke, every time I see this kid touch the ball, I mean, there's something positive happening. Rouge says it here. Warren is nasty. Yeah, he is. He's a really good running back. He needs more carries. But I mean, Najee's not bad. He's not bad either. DG says here, Najee looks like he's running in jeans. I've actually seen this a couple times. Some people say this on Twitter. I thought it was pretty funny. Najee has had a couple of good games this season, if I'm not mistaken. I just think that the Steelers as a whole, just their offense has no type of no cohesiveness, no juice to it really. The whole Pickett to Pickens thing has not really panned out in the way that we thought it has. And I think it's more of an indictment on Pickett than it is with Pickens, to be honest with you. But man, it's rough for Steelers fans right now. It's rough. And the thing is, their record's not even that bad, right? They're not even that far behind in the AFC North, just a couple of games. I mean, they kind of benefit from us having a really tough schedule, right? So as long as they can win out, I think their schedule is probably one of the easiest, I want to say.
It is.
So,
it is.
Yeah. They still got a chance.
I do want to, I want to talk about real quick, since my guy Roosh is in here. We went to the Maryland-Michigan game, college football, obviously. Okay. I will tell you this. There was more Michigan fans here than Maryland fans. The Michigan football team, man. JJ McCarthy did not wow me at all. If he goes first round, I'll be surprised. Like, that guy did. You watch some quarterbacks, like, wow, like, they're impressive. JJ McCarthy did nothing that made me say, wow, he's going to play on Sundays and be good. It's probably a cold take, but against a Maryland team that is mid and a poorly coached team, he really didn't do much. I do want to say that, though, and just because I don't know, could be like a Pickett 2.0, because there was like, some people didn't think Kenny Pickett was going to be a first round pick. They were like, okay, well, there might not be a quarterback this first round. And I think he could be that second one. Like, I've seen stuff on Twitter too. It's like, when you look at Kenny Pickett, what made him a first round quarterback? Some people say it was that fake slide. Like, the questions and concerns were there.
Yeah. The fake slide, that was definitely a big highlight. I think also the fact that, coming from Pittsburgh just kind of welcomed them with open arms, and it was just kind of like meant to be sort of thing. And maybe now they're having second thoughts. But yeah, the saddest thing about the Steelers, and I was telling one of my Steelers friends this earlier today, is that they're not going to finish in a bad enough position to draft the top quarterback prospect next year. That's the funny thing. That's the funny thing. If you're a Steelers, well, not if
Yeah.
you're a Steelers fan. If you're a Ravens fan, it's pretty funny to see from the outside looking in. But the Steelers, they're just too good. They hold on to that above 500 record, but they're just going to stay in kind of like that middle of mediocrity, right? Until they can get lucky and hit on a
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson or somebody like we did, or Joe Burrow or
Yeah.
whatever. They haven't found their guy yet. But
Yeah.
another game I wanted to touch on as well. I don't know if you got a chance to see the Texans take down the Cardinals
Yep. I did.
yesterday,
I
and
did.
CJ Stroud throwing 3 interceptions, but
That's
not
how.
letting that phase him at all. But he didn't let the interceptions phase him though. I mean, he still
Yeah.
came out there, made the throws, was consistent. This kid CJ Stroud, I know he probably is going to be knocked out of the MVP discussion after throwing 3 interceptions in a game, but no, I mean this kid's the real deal. He's the real deal, and
Mhm.
that entire division needs to be on notice for sure.
Yep. Yep. 100%. Jags. I can't wait to see the next time the Jags and the Texans play. That's going to be a good game. One thing about that game, though, like I would love to know people's opinions on Kyler Murray. I know it's the second game back, but like he has that early touchdown. I see
That deep
everybody
ball
like
still
the
look
media is
good.
like, there's like, oh, Kyler Murray is back. That was their first drive, and then it's just silence.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's just I don't want to be too hard as a second game back, but me personally, like he's had the help, he's had the guys, he's had D Hop, had AJ Green. Like it was the end of this great season. Had Hollywood, he's has good guys there. It's just I need to see more. I think he is their future, though. I don't think they're going to take another quarterback. There's
no,
so much capital invested in him. But that's
yeah,
definitely something I look at because their division. I mean, it's the Niners and just the Niners because the Rams taking down the Seahawks, something I wasn't expecting yesterday at all either. That kind of came out of
mm,
nowhere to me. I thought the Seahawks were going to take that, but goes down. Drew Lock comes in, doesn't do
mm-hmm.
much. And then another game I want to talk about was the Vikings Broncos game. Is Russ cooking? Are we seeing Russ cook
You know,
again?
I I don't know if it's necessarily more so just Russ. I mean, because not like Russ is having astronomical numbers, like his numbers are popping
Yeah.
off of the stat sheet or anything like that. I mean, he's making less mistakes, and I think that the Broncos are just. I think Sean Payton's turning it around. I really think so. I think that he's kind of like the driving factor, kind of behind the scenes, who's kind of right at the ship in ways. He's probably
Mhm.
communicated a little bit better with Russell Wilson, and they might be on the same sheet of music now. But I think that that's kind of the driving factor behind their success as of the moment. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, and Cortland Sutton is their guy in the red zone
yeah,
by
yeah,
far. Like the
yeah,
catch last week and the catch last night. Kudos to him. Amazing catches.
yeah. He's been really good. He's been really good uh, on a team where I expected Jerry Judy to be, the clear one, right? But no,
Yeah.
Sutton's definitely stepped up. Let me see. We got a super chat donation. This one's coming from the Don. Appreciate you, Don, for dropping the 5-piece in the chat and making it rain here on episode 210
Thank you.
of the Purple Rain podcast. We appreciate you and your donation. Brother says, why do the
Thank you.
Steelers stick with Najee and not start Warren? He's him. Boz, sorry. Brown Steelers, that was a rough watch, brother. Yeah, for sure. We just got done talking about it. Warren,
I was
yeah,
rooting for the Steelers,
it's
to
kind
be
of like.
honest.
Would you
Browns scared me
compare
more than
the
Pittsburgh.
Jalen Warren and Najee Harris situation to like a Keaton Mitchell and Gus Edwards situation?
No, because at least Gus is getting in the end zone.
This is
That's
true.
that's how I look at it. I mean, because Gus
But
isn't.
Gus is
I mean,
getting
he
in the
is.
end zone because he's benefiting from our offense getting all the way down to go situations, right?
That is true, but it's not like Gus. He'll break off his runs. It's not like
He
he's getting
does.
stopped for. He'll get stopped sometimes, but he'll gain more yards, and I don't know, man. I can't compare because at least we're winning. I just think the best one
And
is CJ
Kareem's,
Pollard. I think there's too much.
yeah, yeah, yep.
The capital
We can all
is the
agree
big
there.
thing.
Yeah, there was one more game I wanted to talk about, if I'm not mistaken. Here, or maybe we already covered it. Oh, Chargers lost again. I think we kind of touched
Yep.
on that a little bit. But yeah,
There was the
no,
Niners, Bucks.
yeah, nothing really
Kind of expected
surprising
that.
there. Yeah, Bills, Jets. Oh,
Oh,
how do you feel about the whole Aaron Rodgers thing and them trying to get him back on the field
your
before
tweet was
December?
what I liked. You stole like they know that's not a smart decision. Rushing him
Yeah,
back, he's gonna play on MetLife and behind that line. Yeah, let's put him behind that line again. Let's see what happens. He's gonna get hurt again. And then
right.
what? Then what's the excuse? Then
Yeah.
the Dolphin sex sounds just didn't work. Like
Yeah, because it's
I
not like
just
you're trotting him out there with a force field around him to where he can't get hit, and all he
no.
has to do is just sit back there in the pocket and throw the football. Like, no, those guys are still going to be coming. Like, those guys are still going to be
Yeah.
coming after him, and he's not mobile. He's not as mobile as he used to be. And on top of being 40 something years old, he's dealing with this I word. You know, he's dealing. What is it? His
Yep.
calf? I want to say, or is it ankle? One of the two. Or no, he
Probably
tore
both.
his. Yeah,
Achilles.
I think he tore his Achilles. Yeah, he tore his Achilles. So I just don't understand how that would make any inkling of sense, especially considering that the Jets are not even in playoff contention
No.
right now. It's not even like he would come back and just have to win maybe one or two games and they're in control
Right.
of their own destiny. No, that's not the situation. Like, so
Yeah.
it just really doesn't make sense at all for them to bring him back this year.
But speaking of quarterbacks, we have to talk about it. I don't know why we're both wearing orange, but we are.
Yes,
The
not
Lord and
planned.
Savior himself, Joseph Vincent Flacco. To my
Yeah,
disgust, is a
yeah.
Brown on their practice. The Flacco to Prochet touchdown is gonna feed families. All right, listen.
I knew you were
That's
about
how
to say
James
that
Prochet
too. I
will get
was
his
like,
first touchdown. I'll change my at to Flacco to Prochet. I'll change it from simply AS10. That'll be my new at,
yeah,
like one of those. Um, yeah. I mean,
one of those Ravens Twitter accounts. Yeah, I know what you're talking
yeah.
about.
I mean, good for you, Joe. I hope you don't play for them because I don't want to see you in the end. That's why I wanted the Steelers to win. Like, I much rather the Steelers in the playoffs because I see what has happened in the past couple of years when they get there. The Browns, on the other hand, that defense is really, really good.
Yeah.
But I mean, 13 points isn't going to win you a lot of games, but they do have a Mickey Mouse schedule. I'm not going to lie, coming up as well. So I am a big Browns hater from now on.
Definitely a big Browns hater, but I can definitely say that Myles Garrett for Defensive Player of the Year,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
on the horizon. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's coming if he keeps it up. So all right, let's go ahead and get into some questions, y'all. Let's go ahead and drop some
Yeah.
questions down below in the live chat. If you're not watching this episode 210 of the Purple Rain podcast live, well, first of all, thank you so much for just watching or listening. But
Thank you.
that means you're part of the hashtag replay gang, and we appreciate you guys just as much. We love you guys just as much. Make sure you leave your comments, questions, concerns, whatever it may be, down below in the comment section. And guys, don't forget, hit that like button. We'd appreciate that. I mean, it helps us out a ton. Subscribe if you are new. We'd appreciate that as well, because there's a whole lot more Ravens content where this came from. So let's go ahead and get the questions down below in the chat.
We're 8 likes away from 50 as well. So if you
Okay.
hit 50 likes, the children will indeed eat, and my voice will get much better.
Yeah.
That's what really matters.
Yeah.
Actually, I do
says,
want to.
sounds like it.
Yeah, I do want to talk about one thing though. While people are getting their
Sure.
questions in,
Yeah.
the NBA, the National Blowout Association. I have actually quit sports betting for the rest of the year. I cannot do it anymore. The NBA is awful to bet on.
Yeah.
Every game feels like it's a blowout. I'm sorry. And then yesterday, my final kicker was Sam Howell. That was my Terry McLaurin. Scary Terry. Couldn't get over 54.5. I was like, you know what?
Nope.
I'll eat the L. And you know what? We'll pack it up and we'll be back. Have fun without me. But I will still have props for the Purple Rain parlay. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Take a break.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, betting on basketball, like you said, it has been absolutely brutal. Like even just trying to do like a 3-leg parlay is super hard to hit right now. Like it's just I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, man. I don't know what it is. Like you said, it's the blowouts. And then sometimes you just have
Load
guys who just flat
management.
out just don't show up, don't perform, load management, whatever it is, and it's even been tough with football. It's even been tough with football lately, I
Hmm.
think, to me at least. But let's
Yeah.
see. Let's go ahead and get some of the questions in
Yeah.
here. Lisa says, do you think Logan Wilson should be fined or suspended? Suspended, no. I mean,
No.
fined. If we're going off of what everybody else has been fined for this season, then sure, give him a fine.
Yeah.
Give him a fine. You know, if anything, the one for Lamar Jackson, whirs up the sideline, kind of lands on the ankle and then twists it up
Yeah.
on the way up. That's a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like that. I don't think that that's necessary. I think you can let go before before you get to the point where you're actually twisting a guy's leg. But that's just me, So if you want to slap a fine on him, cool. I'm not
Yeah.
opposed to that, but a suspension, definitely not.
Nah, no. I mean, as for like stuff we've seen Josh Jacobs get fined for what, running the football? Like,
Right.
I don't get what is a fine now. I mean, I'm right there with you. Not suspended. I mean, it's football. That stuff happens. Go and watch the old stuff from like the 70s, 80s, 90s. Dudes were
Yeah.
insane. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm more worried about the turf. I want to see grass. I don't want to see turf. That's what I'm really focused on. But yeah, not this stuff. So,
Let's see.
yeah.
Mod Boz in the house says, why is Mod Boz running the table in PRP Fantasy League? You know what, Boz? I got the Fantasy League pulled up right here on my phone. And yeah, I mean, he's ranked number 2. He's at 8-2, Boz is. So shout out to him on a 2-game win streak, only behind Mod Roosh. Mod Roosh is number 1 in the league. So you got Mod Roosh, you got Boz, you got NFL Youngboy, which is our other moderator, Cal. And then at number 4, you got Lamar Taxon, aka Sutton Def. Your boy Sutton Def is creeping on up the rankings here. So look out, man. I'm on a 2-game win streak. I was just in like 8th place like 2 weeks ago. So,
Okay. Okay.
I'm on my way. So Boz, look out. I'm not sure when's the next time I play you, but I'll have that circled on my calendar for sure, especially if it's a playoff game.
Damn.
Be very
Damn.
afraid. Be very afraid. Let me see where Alex is at on this list here.
I'm an 8th. I'm losing this week. It's just not my
You're
year
in
for betting or
7th.
for fantasy. So
Mm,
I'm in 7th.
it'd be like
Yeah,
that.
I'm gonna lose this week.
Yeah.
My boy sold me. Addison didn't do much for me. It's okay.
Damn, not Addison.
We'll be back. It's a real character builder is really what it is, and we'll be back.
It is.
I'll talk to the boys.
Black Ice says here, is Isaiah Likely the real deal? This is a good question. I think this is a very fair, legitimate question because we went into this season thinking that Isaiah Likely would probably be a bigger part of this offense than he is to date. And I don't think we expected him to be like tight end 1 or really climbing the totem pole in terms of pass catches because we have so many pass catchers. There's just a litany of them, especially going into the season. But now where we are kind of forced to see him more often, it does kind of pose the question, okay, what can he really do for us? So Alex, I want to get your thoughts. Like, do you think that based off of what we've seen so far in his career, is he the real deal? Can he help us win a Super Bowl this year?
Shit, I mean, if Ed Dixon helped us out, I think likely can. I'm not expecting 4, 5, 6 catches. I'm expecting maybe 2 to 3, move the chains, and maybe have a touchdown every 3 to 4 games. But I just need him to have his sure hands. It can't be like it was the Colts game when he had that drop of the first down.
That drop.
That was the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's your time now. Like this opportunity, like I hate to say it, you could really make some money this year. You're going to be in second year.
Yeah.
You could put in because we could get trade calls for you if you have a really good season. I don't want to speak too far out in the future, but we do develop tight ends well. So if you have a good year and you could be a number 1 come next year, I don't want us to trade him, but you have a really big opportunity. So I think 2 to 3 catches a game, I really wouldn't hate it. 30 to 45 yards moving the chains because he has speed and he can line up in the slot as well. I hope we get creative with him. That's one thing. Todd Monken, talk to me, please. Talk to me nice.
Definitely agree with you there. And if he can kind of do his thing where he finds that open spot, the soft spot in the zones, he does that really well. Catch the ball and then make the first guy miss. For a tight end, it's kind of rare for a tight end to be able to do that consistently. But he's shown that ability to be able to do that, especially earlier in his career. So if we can see some of that wiggle from him and really get his feet wet and consistent in this offense, and build his confidence, I think that he can do some pretty good things. And if you don't believe me, go back and watch his highlights from that Tampa Bay game last year, because he was featured pretty
Mhm.
heavily in that one. So a little blast
Mhm.
from the past there if you guys want to see what Isaiah Likely is capable of. So let's go ahead and take another question here. This one's coming from the Don. Says, do they bring up Travis Vokalek to help
Yes.
more as an inline blocking tight end with good hands?
I wouldn't hate it. Definitely as a practice squad call up, because we know Andrews will probably go out. He will go on IR. I mean, what he was pretty impressive during the preseason. Has some pretty good catches, and him being able to block, and he's pretty massive as well. I wouldn't hate it. I know we had OJ Howard in for workout today. That's really the only free agent tight end I would want the Ravens to take a look at. Everybody else doesn't move me, but we also could just go with Kolar and Likely because this isn't a Greg Roman offense anymore. But I would prefer Vokalek, gets that practice squad call up because I would like to see what he can do, especially blocking.
Yeah. He had a touchdown in preseason, right?
I think he had two of them as
Yeah, two.
well.
Okay. Okay.
He
Yeah. I was
is
thinking.
6'6".
You said 6'6"?
Yep.
About two. How much you weigh?
It does not give a weight. Let me see if I can pull the weight up. 260.
6'6", 260? Bro, that's 260.
Yeah.
That's 260, bro. Like, I don't, you know what I mean?
Blocking?
260 is kind of crazy. I'm telling you, we might
He
need
was
to bring him
moving.
up. He can move. He's got some hands. He can block. I mean, sounds like a Raven to me. I mean, let's just see.
He
See.
he had 2 touchdowns in the preseason.
You know who also showed flashes in the preseason, who's actually playing really well right now? Keaton Mitchell. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we see what the kids got. Who knows? All right.
Maybe.
We'll go ahead, take one or two more questions here. Dre's in the building, says I'm late, but definitely going to watch the replay. What's up, Purple Rain Gang? What's going on, Dre? Appreciate you for coming through. Thank you for, hitting the rewind, being a part of the replay gang today. We appreciate that. Lisa says, I've never done a fantasy league. You got to get in with us next year. Get in with us next year, Lisa. We got you.
I put up his game log. Vokalek, 2 catches, 30 yards. He had a 23-yard catch against the Eagles, 3 for 28, 2 touchdowns against the Commanders, a 17-yard catch was his longest, then 1 for 5 against Tampa Bay. Nothing really crazy, but I mean, he has some pretty good catches for a 6'6", 260 guy. 2 touchdowns was big, and the blocking as well. The Ravens like that. Something to keep your eye on.
Yeah, if you can get a 2 for 1 out of this guy, I mean, bring him up, see what he can do. I mean, this is why we have the depth in the first place. Next man up.
And undrafted. That Ravens scouting department, give them their credit. They can find some pieces. Like Keaton Mitchell. Everybody's like, how did you let the Ravens get Keaton Mitchell? Bro, any team could have had him. He was undrafted.
Yeah, literally, any team.
Like, why are you saying how you guys let the Ravens? No, any team could have had him. Could have drafted him.
Yeah. Okay, so let me end it with this one. It says, why Sutton in a tank top looking yoked when we are all getting ready to get fat for the holidays? Man, you know what? I'm so glad that you brought up the holidays, Don. I really appreciate you for that, because guess what? Us here at the Purple Rain Podcast, we are sponsored by Manscaped, and since the holidays are actually the time for gift giving, that whole season, we all love that. You can go on manscaped.com and get one of your loved ones, your uncle, your brother, your son, your father, whoever you want to get some Manscaped for, special person in your life. Go on manscaped.com, stack up that cart, and use our code PRP to save yourself 20% off plus free international shipping. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast, like you see down below. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def, right there, And then my guy over here, Simply AS10, you can find him on Twitter at Simply AS10 and on Instagram at Simply AS10.prod. And you guys already know all the other peripherals. So YouTube, Simply AS10, TikTok, Simply AS10. Make sure you follow him on all platforms. Okay. On all platforms. Yeah. And then, like I said, again, we will be back on Thursday for our preview episode for the Chargers game. All sorts of fun stuff there. We got ball talk coming from, the Purple Rain preview slides. And then we also have Purple Rain parlay, our picks. Oh, Thursday's Thanksgiving. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure something out then.
Yeah.
See, last week I did like an impromptu live
Yeah.
on YouTube. I think a couple people really like that. So maybe we'll do something like that again, maybe on like a
Okay.
Wednesday or something, since Wednesday is like the day right
Okay.
before the holiday. So yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. But we
Cool.
do want to preview
Cool.
the Chargers game, because that's gonna be a big one. Okay. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for coming out to this episode of the show, episode 210. Love you guys as always. And again, yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna let my guy Alex take us out.
Thank you for coming through to episode 210 of the Purple Rain podcast. If we do not see you, which probably shouldn't be, a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy it, but I think we will see you before that. But as always, stay positive, test negative, and
never ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. It's been episode 210 of the Purple Rain